Welcome to the next video in the series of my last miter saw stand. I'm actually going to start calling this Sedge's Last Stand. I'm going to show you how to save a ton of money when you're doing your drawer faces by just using a simple piece of cardboard. Hey, quick question for you before we get started. What's more expensive? This veneer face cherry plywood or a simple piece of cardboard? So we made a frameless cabinet first. Then we made our drawer boxes, then we installed our slides. Now you'll see that all of these are basically flush with the front of the cabinet. So what I'm trying to get across to you is we are going to do full overlay drawer box fronts or faces. And some of the math, it's pretty easy. I always start with a 2mm reveal here, here, down here, and down here. So when I start going to the math, you'll see me incorporate that 2mm reveal. So another increment of measurement that incorporates 2mm. Is when we start measuring for the drawer faces, we want to incorporate a 2mm reveal from the top of the drawer to the bottom of the drawer face. So when we start doing some more of our measuring, I wanted to come here on my first bank of cabinets here. Because when I start subtracting 4 from my overall measurements, someone will say, why are you subtracting over here? Well, I'll have 2 here and 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 2 here, reveal here, 2mm and 2mm over here. So what that will look like are 4mm between cabinets. And we can always adjust those with our Sedgeley slides because they have unbelievable adjustments with it. So let's do some math. When I measure, and you'll see my abbreviations are OA, overall. Let's take an overall measure of width of cabinet. In the previous videos in the series, of course, we know the inside dimension was 400mm. In the overall, with the 18mm plywood sides, that's 36mm if I'm right. 2 times 18 is 36. Oh, look at that. Bada boom, bada bang. It's 436mm. But we gotta subtract the reveals because now we're talking drawer fronts. So if my math is correct, 436 minus 4 is 432. And what I'm gonna do is I'll just start right here, 432. So now let's measure the height of the cabinet. And I know it's 672. Do you know why? I have it written right here. That was from the original cut. But I'll look at this, 672, which it is, minus 4, and I'll write overall here, 668. So now we know our overalls. Overalls, well, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna cut a piece of cardboard, come in here, cameraman, that fits exactly in that 2mm range that we have for our mock-up of drawer fronts. So let's transfer those measurements, 668 and 432, onto the cardboard. Boom, here, and I always make two witness marks, okay? And I need a really good straight edge. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I'll lay it down on my marks and cut right on there with a good utility knife. I put it up against the splinter guard and keep tension also laterally against there to keep it right on that line. So we get our 668, now let's get our 432. And I'll just take it down here and lay it out. So remember the story stick I made to get these increments of measurements for the height. We went 15mm and a little bit in between. But now what we want to do is get these 100 millimeter drawer box faces all the same size. And it doesn't matter what the 260 is, because that'll just fall into place. So this is why I like doing this mock-up, because I can wrap my brain around getting the precise measurements that I want for the look I want on there. When we're finished with this cherry plywood right here, it'll be a continuous horizontal grain all the way across the box fronts. That is our goal. So what I want to do is I want to take this, remember this 432 this way and 668 that way with that 2 millimeter reveal. But I'm going to bump it this way so we can look at the spacing. I'm going to come over here and wow, this looks good so far, because now I'll fully overlay up top. That's what I'm concerned about. And I'll just do this. I'm going to pick a number and I'll go 120. Okay, that looks good to me. Then what I'm going to do is I got this 2 millimeter. Remember, I want 2 millimeters in between. So I'm going to lay that out just like this. Okay. Later on in the video, I'll show you how I give it just a hair fudge factor to do my rips. Okay, I'm going to come over here and hit, oh, look at that. This is falling into place absolutely perfect. So if I'm to gander at this moment, I think I'm going to have that really good spacing of, yep, look at that. Look how it fell in, 120 millimeter fronts. And it doesn't matter because that won't bump into here. So when I pull that out, no worries, it won't affect anything, and I'll still have, watch this, I will still have this, and now I got my final measurement, which is very close to 300 millimeters for this bottom drawer box, because I got to incorporate this, but also this 18 millimeter or 16 millimeter because of this 2 millimeter reveal here. So that's my basic. Now let's take the cardboard and rip it at the table saw and then bring it back here and see how our math looks. So I set my rip fence on my table saw to what? To 120 millimeters. And some of you are going, oh no, you got to figure out the curve of the blade. Well, it's a 2.5 millimeter blade. So if you really think about it, that works perfect. I know that is 2 millimeter, but that extra 0.5 gives me a little fudge factor. So I'm going to rip these 3 pieces just like this, and we'll see where we're at. Let's see how it worked out. So now we have this piece. I'm just going to bring it, and this is rough. I'm just going to bring it to my rough 2 millimeter lines that I laid out. I'll bring it in here. And remember, that'll be a 2 millimeter spacing. We'll check that out in a moment. We'll bring that in. Oh, look where that's going to fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and bring this in like this. Okay, just like that. This doesn't take long, and it is just, oh look, we're going to have all that clearance too when that comes out. So we'll bring this in as well, check this out, and oh, look how perfect that came out. So those are our measurements in the height of our drawer boxes. Fronts, and we know that's the right width. So by now some of you are probably asking, okay, we see the 2 millimeter, but when you edge band it, you're going to add a millimeter to each drawer height. Correct. I'm not going to rip these out of that expensive plywood at 120. I'll rip these at 119 because this is 0.5, and I'll have a piece here and here, and also here and here. So if this, remember this measurement, so if this is 432, I will rip these, all my widths, at 431. So now when I put my edge banding all the way around, I will still have a 2mm reveal. So getting this mocked up like this will really benefit you. What I also did is laid out those 2mm lines on the corresponding cabinets. I brought everything up here. You can do this in place. But I ripped 2 more of those 120s, okay? And I brought it in just to make sure my math was correct, and I bring it to my 2mm lines. Look at that. It's all laying out just right. Oh, that's gonna work out perfect because look at my applied molding that we did in that former video. I'm gonna come in here and just remember, I don't have these screwed together yet, but this will all work out absolutely perfect. And yes, I know that's a 4mm reveal between the cabinets. So when we're finished, this will look like a continuous piece of cherry, hopefully. So as you can see, this instead of this, with a few layout tools, understanding the dimensions of your drawer faces, okay, and incorporating all 3 cabinets together, you'll save some money. Do a simple mock-up. This is so inexpensive. Hey, before I end this video, thank you for your patience. This has been quite a journey for me. I am so excited. I have quite a few more videos planned, so stay tuned to my last miter saw stand. Hey, and as I always end these videos, be positive, stay sharp, and I mean wicked sharp.